So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are looking from. What is going on with my camera? That's the question. Hopefully you can hear me and my camera's decided to go nuts. So I'm just going to change this now. Great start. There we go. Hi. Let's change it back. See if it'll... There we go. Fantastic. Hi. Right, let's start that again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening, hearing, watching, smelling from. This is JP, welcome to John Paul Music UK. And this was going to be the midweek live loop. We've changed it. I've had some technical difficulties to get, as you can see. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do an AMA. So AMA is Ask Me Anything. And we're going to actually, we've got this slight overlay just here. And this is what's known as the multi-chat. The multi-chat, we are live on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Twitch. So if you guys are here, and then that way, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just slightly shimmy over, shall I? There we go. And then that way, this chat, if you put hello in the chat, and of course my camera's just moved, doesn't it? There we go. Let's just put that there. I want to talk about this camera as well today, because we've had a couple. There we go. We've had a couple of comments about these cameras and stuff like that, and also obviously I've been playing with the Sheeran Looper X, and there's a couple of other things about that and what's coming. So ask me anything. You can ask me obviously what the loopers are like. You can ask me about anything really. So say hello in the chat obviously if you want to. A couple of things we need to obviously get out of the way first of all. This live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid are a music distribution company. So basically if you want to put your music out there, these guys can help you, and you give your music to them, you keep all the royalties, and they actually push it out to all the online stores and digital streaming sites around the world, of which there are over now 160 different streaming sites around the world, and basically we can give you 7% off. So that can actually give you 7% off in the chat. What is going on here? Then you can obviously have a look at that, and that is obviously why it's there. So, sponsored by DistroKid. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring this live stream. The other thing as well that I wanted to bring to your attention is How to Loop Like a Pro. How to Loop Like a Pro is my beginner's course for looping. If you have just joined the channel and you're thinking about getting into looping, I actually have a course which teaches you how to loop. Ta-da! It's this one over here. And this teaches you the how of looping, not the what to loop with. But the great thing about this is this means that you can actually loop no matter what you're using. So if you're using a pedal, using a tabletop looper, or if you're using an app like Loopy Pro, for example, or a different app, then this is actually showing you the techniques of looping. This actually is one of my courses. It's just $48, so it's cheaper than most looping pedals, if I'm honest. And then obviously, as I say, we used to sell this as two separate courses, and now I've smashed it together, and now it's just one course called How to Loop Like a Pro. So have a look at that if you want to, and obviously if you obviously get that, that directly helps me out. The new one though is thank you very much. Yeah, someone scanned the QR code right in front of my face. The new one though is this one. This is the Sheeran Looper X course. It's not out yet. I want to stress this. So I've had an email today from someone saying, I bought the course. Where is it? And I've actually been really stressing, and it does say on the checkout that the course isn't ready yet. You're pre-buying it. Think of it like a pre-sell. So you're pre-sell buying this, and it's going to be $197, just like the RC600 course is. But at the moment, whilst I'm building it, you get 40% off, which brings it down to $118.20. So this will help you basically, obviously with the Sheeran Looper X, we're going to go from basically getting it out of the box, turning it on for the first time, looking at the different presets, looking at all the different buttons, what they can do, and actually going into what I've said is Ed's stuff, because it was built around Ed, but then going beyond that and going actually into some really cool advanced stuff. So have a look at that. We're looking around about mid to late June. I'm hoping mid. I want to be mid, but you'll have to bear with me on that. And then that way we can get that out to as many people as possible. And then if there are updates, should there be updates, I will update the course, and of course you won't get charged any extra. you're saving 40% off. So thank you very much to those who've already pre-bought the course, as it were. That really helps me, obviously, financially to get the course up and running and get it sorted, but also at the same time getting a great discount. I didn't even give that much discount on the RC600 course. So once that course is ready and I click the button and it all goes live, that discount automatically goes. Okay, so you've got, I'll let you know when that is going to be, but I'm hoping it's going to be around the mid-June time. So you've got a couple of more weeks yet before it completely disappears. Excuse me. And yeah, I just basically wanted to highlight that because obviously it's brand new. And of course, you've got the How to Loop Like a Pro and the Shearing Looper. I also have courses on things like the RC500, the RC600 as well. And there's going to be more courses made in the coming year because I've got a bit more time because I'm now full-time on YouTube. So yeah, that's weird. Still not getting used to that, which is mad. Bruce, good morning. How are we doing? Bruce Taylor's music videos. Good morning. I hope you can help. I've added a Roland hand sonic to my board. Way! I love the hand sonics. They're cool. However, when I record a drum track to track 1 on the R600 and then add additional guitar tracks to track 2 and 3, I can't get them to sync to the hand sonic on track 1 on the R600. Okay, so if you're basically, think of this as recording, you're recording your loop. So if you're, making a groove, as long as that groove is down and the timing's down, then if you can't get the other tracks to sync, then what you're going to have to do is go into the RC600 and just check the syncing capabilities. You may have loop sync switched on, or you may have quantize on in a really weird way. Have a look at that with the when you record a drum track to track 1 and then add additional guitar tracks to tracks 2 and 3, you can't get them to sync. Okay, well, it should sync automatically, but make sure, the first thing to do would go into, you tested me now, go into loop, go into record options and make sure that the recording option is, go into loop, go into the tracks, individual track 1 to 6, and then just check to see whether it's on auto. Or you could actually, if you know how many bars it's going to be, you could actually dictate how many bars it's going to be. Make sure the BPM obviously does marry up with what you've done with the hand sonic. The alternative you could do is, if you actually got the guitar, you could maybe put like a rhythmic strum down, so and then add the hand sonic on top, knowing full well that is definitely, bang on. And then you'll have to excuse this cough. And then you'll know that you're in sync then. But the ways to have a look at the syncing options would be in loop, record, and loop, and then the individual tracks. So if you know it's going to be 2 bars, you could set, like, say track 2 is 2 bars, and then that way it's only ever going to be 2 bars. The nice thing about that, it's like you're overdubbing already, so you don't have to hit the button bang on. So it should quantize that, and there is a quantize option as well, so I'd go quantize to measure. That's probably a good option, or quantize to bar to save you. So Bruce, I hope that helps you. Bruce Taylor's music videos. I need to go and watch some music videos from Bruce. If you're just joining us, we were going to be doing the midweek live. We found some technical issues today, so we have reverted or changed over to AMA or AJPA. Ask JP anything. So if you've got any questions, got any concerns, obviously now is the time. Let me know. Not sponsored. Sponsors there. The other thing as well is I wanted to talk about a couple of things, and one of the things I want to talk about is sort of the future of what I'm doing. First of all, full disclosure, I've had COVID. I'm over it now, but I've just got this lingering cough, which is a real annoyance. Anyway, I'm fine, by the way. But yeah, the future of what I'm doing. So the future of what I'm doing right now is obviously courses, and I have left my day job and I'm now full-time on YouTube, which is scary, but also incredibly releasing, which is amazing. And obviously by scanning QR codes, that helps me out, obviously, in one way or another. Whether you buy one of my courses or you obviously go through DistroKid link, that obviously helps me out as well because it's an affiliated link and at no extra cost to you. In fact, you can save 7% off. But I'm digressing, sorry. I wanted to talk about courses. So I'm actually building courses right now, and what I want to hear from you, whether you're watching this live or watching this on the replay, I've got the RC600 course, the RC500 course, the How to Loop Like a Pro, and then now bringing in the Sheeran Looper X course. Now, building courses actually takes a bit of time because you've got to film quite a lot of videos, and I'll try and bulk as many as I will in June to obviously get this. In fact, I've started filming them already, but that's why it's down there with the cameras and stuff. But I'd like to know what you would want as a course, and I put a post up on YouTube to the members, and I got quite an interesting response. The response actually, I put it almost like a poll, and the big response was songwriting. Now, I want to know whether that's songwriting with a looper or just songwriting in general. Now, I've made quite a few albums, and I've also done the live albums, which are literally just playing live. Looping My Brain, if you want to go and see Looping My Brain, where's that gone? My Brain. The Looping My Brain album looks like this. And if you just look at Looping My Brain by John Paul, that's volume 1. And there is now also a volume 2. I must get volume 2 up here so I can show you. But I want to know from you, I want to know what you would like as a course from me. The other thing as well is, since going full-time on YouTube, lots of people who have found that out have now booked my my coaching, which is crazy. So my coaching options is there on the website. Just go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and I've only got a few slots basically left for June, which is mad because I can only give so much time. But obviously, it's totally up to you what you want in that respect. Bruce, you're more than welcome, of course, absolutely, no problem at all. Oh, great, let's have a look. Is there any difference between Headrush Looper Board and Ed Sheeran's Looper X? Yes, there is. The first one is the pedals. In fact, I've got the Looper Boards just there. Can you see it? I've got the Looper Board there, and then Looper X is just there. There he is, on the floor right there. So, first of all, pedals, the big ones, switches and pedals. So there's more switches on the Looper board as opposed to the Sheeran Looper X. The I/O is incredibly similar. The 7-inch touchscreen is incredibly similar. However, this, oh, no, wrong way. This is actually elevated more up. It's about 10 degrees as far as I'm aware. And that really does help. And it really, really is nice. The Looper board has more, as I say, more switches. If you're thinking about getting like a second-hand Looper board, if that's where your brain's at, be very, very careful. Okay? The reason I say be very careful is because when Headrush brought it out, they basically brought it out with some switches, and those switches were not at the right level for looping switches. They were fine for, like, if you put those switches on like a guitar pedal and you press distortion, and if you misfired, then you just did it again. But this is a looper, and it really needed a better quality switch. So you'll find if you go digging, you will get dirty. That's what they say. But you'll find that there's people talking about the Looper board and the switches failing, and mine did. Mine failed. 3 of mine failed. Now, I was lucky enough at the time because I was working with Headrush, because they gave me that to do videos. If you scroll through my channel, I did loads of videos about the Headrush Looper board, and they gave me that to play with, and that's fine. And they failed, and because they handed it to me, I was like, and I handed it back and said, sort it. So I was very lucky that they switched the switches on that one. But the pedals on this, mwah, absolute dream. They are a dream to play with. They are the best pedals for any looper. So for that one, and for the Sheeran Looper Plus, which is just there, those two have got the same pedals, and they're absolutely gorgeous to play with. So much so that I've said in a video, and I've done it anyway, that one of my videos I actually played in just my socks. Because you can, because it doesn't hurt, because they just go click. And they're really, really, they're not soft, but they're really easy to press, but they're built like a tank. The actuator on them is fantastic. And yeah, they're just the best. Now, The other difference as well is the way that the effects works, and that is probably the biggest thing. So the effects works where it's tied to the track on the Sheeran Looper X. So if you want that effect, and you want that effect just basically to like play in and then turn off, it has its advantages. It's almost like a track effect, but it's like an input effect that is a track effect. It's tied to the track. So the advantage is, let's say on track 2 or loop 2, I put a bass effect on. All I've got to do is then click it to select it and sing through it or play through it, and the bass effect is there already the whole time. I can go into effects and turn it off. But the downside for me is if you just make a completely clean loop without any without pre-doing anything, you have to bend down and go do effects, turn effect on, choose effect, and you can't do that live. I'd like to see the effect system completely changed, but that's a massive overhaul, and I don't know whether they do that. Oh, I was meant to put the chat up so you guys could see what you're saying. There you go. That's better. Yeah. So basically, this question, I keep going the wrong way. This question right here, is there any difference between a Headrush looper board and Ed's? There is. There's quite a bit of difference. And I'm just shoveling over here, so I'm a bit more. There we go. That's better. Hope you can hear me. Let's just change the microphone position slightly, because I'm funny like that. So I've got obviously my RC600 down here. I know I'm a lucky boy because I've got quite a few loopers, but I do work hard for them, I do promise. The other thing as well is, for those who have bought the RC600 course off me, I have now added 3 new lessons. Now those lessons were kind of there already as like a pigeonhole, like a holder. They were already there and just coming soon. So the 2 lessons that were like that is bounce and also using multiple memories for one song. So those 2 lessons are brand new, and if you've got the R600 course, log back in and you'll see that they've changed now from a little bit of like a placeholder, that's the word I'm looking for, but changed from a placeholder, and it says now a video and you can play it. The new one actually is a really old video because I kept getting asked, I put things about firmware updates, and then people were saying, well, how do you do a firmware update? And I actually had an old YouTube video, and it's exactly the same. So I just put that on the beginning. The other thing you can do as well, and then I forgot to tell you about this, and if you're interested in any of my courses, I'm now going to share my screen. How many times did you hear that in 2020? What? Yes, allow. Weirdo. There we go. Right, now, I need to just take the chat off for a sec, just so you can see this. Here is my channel, my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk. Okay, and boop. No, that's fine. We'll leave it like that. And if you scroll down, the first thing you're going to see is Sheeran Looper X under construction, 40% off. Whoop, whoop. But also, if you keep scrolling down, you'll see an option for all my courses. Now, click the courses page, and then what will happen is you will then see the courses that I do. You've got Sheeran Looper X, How to Loop Like a Pro, but the RC500 and the RC600 courses, you can now get the first chapter completely free. All you got to do is sign up, and then there's no card to put in. You can just sign up, have a look at the first chapters, see if it's something that you like, and then when you get to the end of the first chapter, then it asks you, obviously, if you want to pay for the rest of it. I've decided to do this because, first of all, the company I use to do my courses give this as an option. And quite a few people have actually done it and have signed up to it. I haven't promoted this at all. So this actually here where you can see get your first chapter for free. If I go here and go to get the first chapter for free,
it's
and
designed,
then
which I really
obviously
like.
it talks to you'll see that me talking about the course, and that's all fine. And then if we go, it's free, the first chapter, and go try it now. Completely free. All we need is the email address and your name, so obviously we can get that in there. And then it is $197, but if you've got codes that you're aware of, subscriber is one of the codes. Then if you put the word subscriber in, you might get a little cheeky discount at the time of when it asks you to pay for it. So if you want to give my stuff a trial, head over to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, And then what you can do is you can have a go at the first chapters of the RC500 and the RC600 course. I forgot about that. I forgot to tell you about that. How silly of me. There we go. So if you're just joining us, hi, good afternoon. This is JP. Welcome to Jump On Music UK. And we are live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. If you are watching me on Twitch, or if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, then say hi. This is the multi-chat. Now, the only one the multi-chat doesn't work with is LinkedIn, by the way, because they're weird. But hopefully we can have a chat, and this is AMA or AJPA, Ask JP Anything, and you can ask JP absolutely anything. You can ask me what I had for lunch. You can ask me, about my courses. You can ask me about live streaming advice. You can ask me about looping advice. You can ask me what I've got that's free, and I can tell you. I've got a free PDF and I've got a free RC600 planner to give you if you want it. It's completely free. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about, and again, the overlay of the chat is going to just disappear slightly for a second. Oh no, it doesn't have to actually. I just realised it doesn't have to. I get asked absolutely loads of times about what do I do for looping. And I've done these 10 steps before on a live stream, but I kind of wanted to go through it again because we talk about this a lot. I'm going to be making a big PDF, basically a mini book at one point. And I'm only going to be charging probably about, I don't know, maybe $20 for it, maybe less, it depends. And I'm going to basically make a book about looping. How to get started with looping, what to do for looping, top tips and everything else, but I'm going to do it as a PDF. People have actually asked, have you got a PDF? And I've got a little one, which is free on my website, which is jumponmusic.co.uk. So you can go to my website, and go and get, just scroll down. You'll see it near the bottom, just above the coaching option. You'll see JP's top pro looping tips. So it's a PDF. And that's free. But I'm going to make a new one and go super, super deep into this and just But I kind of have these 10 points that I want to get across. Now, if you've got questions in between this, obviously let me know. That's what the chat is for. I'll get used to the fact that it's over there. Don't worry. The first one, obviously, is choose a loop pedal or choose a looper. Get what's right for you. Now, you may find that you're a guitarist, for example. You've seen all your mates with pedals, and then you instantly think, I need to get a pedal. Well, you might not need to get a pedal. Maybe you want a tabletop looper. Maybe you want an app. You don't know yet because you're not sure. There's a lot of advantages to a pedal over an app, or there's loads of advantages of an app over to a pedal, but it depends on what you do. So don't assume that you need to get a pedal. Make sure you get the right looper. The second one is, once you've got your looper, whatever that is, practice. Now, I know. But timing is everything, and it really is. And it's one of these things where I've been talking to seasoned pros, I've been talking to people who are on tour, which I'm very lucky to talk to. I've been talking to people obviously just in their room, and I've been talking to someone recently, and they could melt your face off with an amazing guitar, and their guitar sounds amazing. And they've been playing for 30 years. They've got timing, they know timing, but timing with a loop pedal, they can't do it. They're really struggling, and it's because of the disassociation of the syncopation from what you're playing whilst your foot is going bump and bump. So yeah, practice your loop pedal. Timing is everything. Now, if you're using a looper or loop pedal, then you're gonna obviously, and you're playing live, then the other thing you'll want to do as well is plan your set list. So you may want to actually structure your songs or the audio of your songs depending on what you do with the looper. I always like to give the example of John Wynn. If you don't know who John Wynn is, go to John Wynn's YouTube channel. What is his YouTube channel now? Little plug for John Wynn. It literally is John Wynn. JOHNWYNNE. So let me just share my screen. There he is. Little plug for our John there. Basically, he is a live loop artist. He also has his own YouTube channel. He's on 1.1k subscribers. Go and subscribe to him because I want him to get more than that, because he's definitely worth getting more than that. He hasn't done much recently, I think about 10 months ago, because he's been gigging so much, which is a lovely, lovely problem to have. But the reason why I bring John up is because plan your set lists. What he does, he plays covers and he plays cover gigs. And what he does with his cover gigs, just make that bigger, there we go, is his first set, he loops everything from scratch. And then his second set, it's actually all pre-made loops. And they're like skeleton tracks. And he uses the RC600, so he uses the memories to go up and down the memories, and they're already there for him. So the sort of like, the rhythm's already there and the bass line's already there, because he wants to keep the crowd entertained and he wants to keep them grooving. So this is quite a useful thing to do, is actually plan your set list. The worst thing, certainly if you're doing this live, is to be playing a song and you've got the audience in the palm of your hand, the last song went really well, they're all going, way, clap, 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 clap. And then the next thing is for 3 minutes they see you doing this. Looking down, and then just like, ugh, the mood's gone. So this is why John, on his second half, actually does all his loops. He does the skeleton version of his loops predetermined, because you can just go into it and go next, 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 next really, really quickly. So things like that really, really help. And it's one of those things where it'll just elevate your live performance. The next one is, before you start up a gig, check your levels, because they will not be right. What I do in this room right now is not what will happen on the gig on Saturday. So I need to make sure that my levels are right. You've got to sound check yourself. Even if you're a solo artist with a loop pedal, you've got to make sure that the looper and you are right. I always have told people I set my looper about 93 to 95 out of 100, let's say. And then that way the loop is just like a little bit lower, because it's a little bit like you have a band with you, so that I see that as a back line, and then that back line just is a little bit sort of behind the main singer, which is me. So, and that's not me sort of being, I don't know what the word is, but check your levels, because I've done it before. I've forgotten to check my levels, and then I got to a gig, and then the vocal loops were stupidly loud, and the guitar loops, you couldn't hear them. And that's because I was messing around here in this room. And then got to the gig and was like, and I only had a small amount of time. So the first couple of songs sounded naff. So check your levels, because they won't be right. Now then, this next one, hang on. This next one is not just for loop artists, it's for every musician ever. Check your gear before you leave. Now that is basically the amount of times I've left the cable here and got to a show and like, oh, for God's sake. The alternative is obviously check your gear again before you leave for home. I've left, because I use a microphone over there that is quite big. I take my own mic clip with me. The amount of times I've left the mic clip, I've gone through so many mic clips. I've got spare mic clips just there, just out of shot there, just in case, because I'm terrible. I certainly if I'm using someone else's mic stand. I completely forgot about this. I wanted to show you something. I showed it on the last live stream, but I'm doing a review soon of a device to make this completely wireless. Any dynamic microphone completely wireless. That's not big news. The cool thing is, you need to go and have a look at a company called Swag Thief. Is it Swag Thief? Swag. Oh, I can never remember the name. Swag. Chief Swag. That's it. Yeah, have a look at Chief Swag. Just Google it, because they make windshields for these, and you can put your own logo on it. So I reached out to them, and look, how cool is that? They've made that and then sent it out to me. So I'm going to be using that at the gigs. And then it just says John Paul Music UK, which is great. But you could have your band name on there, or you could have your artist name on there, or you could have a QR code. And I thought that'd be really cool. So when it's on there, you have it positioned in such a way, so therefore basically it has a QR code. People can scan it at the gig. So I spoke to them about that and thought that's a great idea. So they make them for a couple of different microphones. It just about squeezed onto there, but it fit on like an SM58, no problem. That's a little bit thicker, the Fifine K8. But these are really cool. I really like them. I think it's a cool idea, and it's a great way of promoting yourself. So if you're singing maybe sort of that way, either side, people can see your logo, and I think that's really cool. So check out Chief Swag, and Chief Swag basically, if you reach out to them. ChiefSwagOfficer.com, but yeah, Chief Swag. Strange name, but there we go. But they're really cool. Really like that. Go ahead. I'd like to have a T-shirt of you, like yours. Well, you can. You can actually have this T-shirt, not this one. I'm sweating in it, but you can have this T-shirt. This is one of my designs. This is called How to Loop Like a Pro. How do you loop? This is my How Do You Loop T-shirt, and then on the back, as you may have seen, is a load of loops as well, and I designed that. So if you actually look underneath my videos, you can go to them and you can actually grab one of the T-shirts in lots of different colours. There's also a hoodie version as well. So why is my camera slightly out of focus? It's a bit weird. What have I done to it? It's because I'm moving around. It'll sort itself out eventually. There we go. My face. There we go. So if you would like one of my T-shirts, it may very well be underneath here, potentially, but it's definitely underneath the videos that I do. And if you go to my channel and go to the store, it's there on the store. So it's through Teespring or Spring, and then you can pick one, and there you go. You can get it in many different colours. So How Do You Loop, by the way, is also my podcast, and that's why I wear it to promote the podcast. But yeah, if you want one of those T-shirts, you're more than welcome. No problem at all. Underground show. Hello, my friend. I got one question about setups. Could I ask? Of course you can. Ask away. This is Ask JP Anything. Ask JP anything. Anything at all. I might not answer, but you can certainly ask. Yeah, of course you can. Absolutely. Go and ask about the setup. Type away, and we'll get it answered for you, and we'll try and help you with this. Whilst that's happening, obviously to let you be aware, this live stream is sponsored, and it's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. These guys are a music distributor, and if you have songs that you're releasing, you have to give it out to a music distributor to then send it out to all the different places like Spotify and Apple Music and all that jazz. Now, if you sign up with this QR code or the link that's in the description box of this live stream, then you're going to get 7% off their annual subscription, because they never charge monthly or charge per release. They charge an annual subscription. It's $22.99, and we can give you 7% off. There's actually a couple of tiers, and one of the tiers, I don't know if I still have it here. Did I have it here? Yeah, there we go. So they have a couple of tiers, and that's the old one with the wrong pricing. There's Musician, which is $22.99. There's Musicians Plus. I'm sure I had that picture somewhere. Boop. I will find it for you. Give me 1 second. DistroKid. There it is. There it is. Right, there you go. So basically, it's $22.99 billed annually, obviously. $1.92 a month. I'm on the middle one. I'm on the one that's called Musicians Plus, which is $39.99. The reason is you get everything in the Musicians one, but you're able to customize the date of the release. That to me is really important, because if you're doing pre-sales and things like that, you can customize it. One thing that's amazing with all of them, no matter which one you go for, even if you got the base one, is the hyperfollow links page. They are so handy. What that is, if you're not familiar with it, the hyperfollow links page, what it does is if you have got a release, every time you upload a release, they make a one-stop web page with that release on, and then underneath it's like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, Tidal, Deezer, all these different ones. And then that way, instead of someone going, "Oh, are you on Spotify? Where can I find you?" Or "Are you on Apple Music?" Or you're trying to promote one and then they're on the other. That way you can just give them the link and just text them the link or airdrop them the link or email them the link, whatever you're doing, put it on social media. And then they can choose how they listen to your music. It just makes it so easy. Anyway, go and check them out. Link in the description. Scan the QR code. Probably just gone into the chat as well. Thank you very much for them for sponsoring this live stream. Now, Underground Show, if you want to put your question up, I will more than happily answer. Shouldn't be drinking Coca-Cola while I'm doing a lot of talking. It's, right. Whilst we are doing that, we talked about leaving your gear and stuff. So that was number 5. Number 6. Location, feedback and view. Okay. Now, if you're using a loop paddle, think about, certainly if you're using a microphone and you're slightly in front of your speaker, the speaker's going to pump out and then that's going to bleed into the microphone and then you're going to loop that. Or you're going to get that bleed. Unless you're using IEMs and then you're on a big rig. If you're on a big rig, and that's fine, you've got monitors or IEMs. But if you haven't got any of that, and you're in a local pub or you're at a local sort of venue and you're just plugging in, then you can obviously bring your own little speaker, or what you can do is obviously position yourself in such a way that you're not going to get bleed in going into the microphone when you're looping. The alternative you can do as well, certainly for feedback, is if you know, and you categorically know, say on loop 2, it's going to be the guitar and nothing else. On a lot of loopers, like the 600, the shearing loopers and all that, you can dictate what inputs that looper can hear, that pedal can hear, like that channel. So therefore I could say, well, on channel 2, only hear input number 2, which is my guitar. Therefore, when you're looping, it won't hear the microphone, aka the bleed, and therefore you're going to get a better sound. Also, view as well. What I mean by this is your feedback and view. And view is basically how you're perceived. What I'd highly recommend to do, even if you're not, a content creator or you're filming yourself or anything like that, although you should be. What I'd highly recommend to do is either film yourself or at least to get someone to take a picture of you whilst you're looping, because you'll be surprised what you look like, and watch it back as well, certainly if it's a video, because that'll lead me on to my next points in a minute. But I would highly recommend to get someone to take a photograph of you while you're looping, just to see what it looks like, because you may be like this or over to one side and it might not look great, if I'm honest. It's just one of those real basic things. But the big one, obviously, for location is feedback. And there's a couple of ways you can get around that. Now then, someone scanned a QR code. Good-o! If you've got questions, put them in the chat. This is the super chat that chat over to multiple different places. But yeah, so obviously if you're on watching me on YouTube, Twitch or Facebook, that'll work. On LinkedIn, unfortunately, it doesn't. So if you're on LinkedIn, come over and we can get you sorted. Right, okay, cool. Let's go to number 6. We did that. Number 7. Be flexible and adaptable. Learn your undos and your redos. This is about mistakes. This is about making mistakes in the moment and going, sorry everyone, I've made a mistake, I'm going to start again. Don't do that. Please don't do that. What you can do is keep it all rolling and then learn how to undo or peel, as it is on the Shearing Looper X, and then redo should you need to. This is something that where you can actually make a mistake and people haven't got a clue you've made a mistake. Unless it sounds obvious. If you've made a little mistake and you undo it very quickly and then just carry on, you can actually be really, really flexible. When I say adaptable, one thing you might find is something might happen, and something could happen like while you're gigging, or something could happen while you're performing, and it's not as you thought it would be. So be adaptable to that, and be adaptable to the crowd. Maybe they want a fast song when you've got a slow song written in the set list, or maybe they're all up and dancing, and if you play that slow song, you're gonna kill the mood. Change it. Go over to the different memory. Definitely have a button that will get you memory up and memory down, or how to load up your memories if you've done number 3, which is plan your set list. So if you planned your set list, then it's like, dude, this room is rocking. If I play this song now, everyone's just going to leave. Don't play it. Go to the next song, or go to the next fast song. So be flexible, obviously, with your loops, but obviously be adaptable to the audience. Now, either Underground Show has gone, or they're typing War and Peace, or they're not typing. I tell you what's weird. Not commuting anymore. That's really weird. So much so that me and my wife are now doing a fake commute. We're walking around a local lake that's here, local marina. So we're doing a walk to work and then going to work, which is really cool. But yeah, not getting on a train first thing in the morning when you don't want to is fantastic. Sorry guys, for the people who still work in the place I used to work at, and anyone else who does that as well. By the way, if anyone wants to learn, that was the other thing as well. I was talking before about when I put a poll up on the YouTube channel about what the courses you want, and most people put songwriting. So what I want to know is, if you're watching this in the replay, or if you're watching right now, put it in the chat. I want to know, is that songwriting just songwriting? My take on songwriting, or is it songwriting with a loop pedal? Because I'm thinking about making a new course about songwriting, and is it because I'm using loopers? Is it because of that, or do you guys want songwriting? I don't mean just songwriting, but you know what I mean. So let me know in the comment section below, or if you're on the chat now, let me know what you want. If you want something completely different as a course, let me know, because I would be very interested to see what people want. I could do courses on every one of these pedals if you really need it, but I would rather keep the courses to bigger things. So I could explain how to use like a mini pedal probably in one video, whereas something like that's big, like the 600 and the 500 and the Sheeran Looper X, I mean, I've written out, oh god, let's have a look, I can't remember, I think it's something like 45 videos. Let's have a look. All products, Sheeran Looper X course. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm going to do something I didn't plan on doing. I'm going to let you into the back end of my course builder, and I'm going to show you a very early look at what's on the course. So if you bought the Sheeran Looper X course and you're wondering what's going to be in it, I'm going to take screenshots of this and put it on the website anyway. This may change. This is pre-release, okay? So there we go. Let me just make that bigger, and let's just turn the chat off for now. So what I've got right now is obviously an introduction. Welcome to the Sheeran Looper X. Top panel, rear panel, understanding the mute flow. Demo breakdown. Can I make that bigger? Oh, I can. Let's do that. There we go. And then basically, I'm going to break down the video I made, which is on the channel already, which is me doing Boss Castle. Fast mode, record, dub, play. And then that's where, basically, we're going to do the same thing where you can have the first episodes for free. And then Using the Shearing Looper X, we've got looper modes, importing audio, functions A, function B. Audio routing, input, track loop routing, and output routing. Advanced features, peel, all clear, clear track, bounce, multiply, speed, transpose, phase, reverse. By the way, every one of these is going to have a demonstration in them as well. The perform menu, so the navigation of track view, wave view, mixer view, effects, overview, apply effects, edit, pedal, expression, tuner. The setup menu, save a loop, new loop, loop manager, storage, backing track player. That's got its own dedicated thing about. I'm going to talk about importing them, exporting them, all kinds. The loop settings, so tempo, click and counting. I think it's very important. The looper mode, the quantization, the one-shotting and decaying, time stretching, and customizing the pedals. Yeah, that's a big one. You got global settings and then transfer. Now, I haven't finished this yet, as I said. So, if you've got any suggestions, if you've bought the course and you've got suggestions for what should be on there, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know in the chat. But that is where we are at the moment. So that's a lot of video. Every one of them is going to be a video, a dedicated video with explanations, with how it works. So, and then that video is available to you forever because you've made that payment. So there you go. If you don't know what I'm talking about this. The Shearing Looper X course. It's 40% off whilst I'm constructing it right now. It's going to be $197. When that course is ready, that discount is going to go. So if you are interested, obviously if you've got the Shearing Looper X and you want to learn from me specifically and want to learn everything about it, plus Ed's flow, plus going beyond Ed's flow. I don't know why I keep picking up the pen. And scan the QR code, have a look in the link in the description. And then for those who've already got it, as I said, mid-June, we're hoping to get all that out. So, how's everyone doing? All right? Where's the chat gone? There it is. Chat's gone weirdly quiet. So, hopefully you guys are all okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn the chat off for now because it's not really moving much and people aren't chatting. We are going to go over to our captions and we're going to, by the way, for those who were curious and watching last time, I'm still using ReStream. ReStream is fantastic. This is how I'm able to get all these things up on the screen really easily and it just works. So let me just close that. Let's just go to there and see what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right then. So, cool. All right, that works. Fine. So, there we go. Right. So the last one we talked about was be flexible and adaptable. The next one is be creative, be original. When you're employed, using my little kneeling chair here, when you're employed as an artist to go to a venue and play songs, certainly if you're playing other people's songs, you could just play it exactly the way the track is, the streaming track, the CD, the vinyl, whatever you want to call it. But then the alternative is that. Be creative. The other thing as well is when it comes to looping, what the audience don't want to see is you like this looping for 3 minutes before you sing verse number 1. What I would do is, let's just say you've got this track which has got all these different bits in. I'd put a little bit in first and then maybe sing the first verse, add something then afterwards, and then sing the chorus. Now, it breaks the flow of the song, sort of, if you do things like that. But if you do it in the right way, where it is original enough, people will accept it. When I do like covers of stuff on YouTube, I'm trying to do it obviously as close as possible. But like, say for example, Azizam, when I did Azizam, the Ed Sheeran song, I actually was looking at the way Ed did his performance, and I was kind of trying to see if I could do the same performance, basically. Cat. So be original with it. Obviously, put your own spin on it, but also don't put all your loops at the beginning and then sing the song. You know, try and break it up. Certainly if you're live, Try and break it up, and people go, "Oh, what's he doing there? Oh, he's having a bass line. Oh, okay." And then you sing the other bit, and then you sing the chorus, and then all of a sudden you've got harmonies, and it just makes it more, I think, as well. Number 9 is learn from others. Now, this is obviously my selfish plug. You can learn from me. There is over 700 videos on YouTube, of course. Go and learn from me. The other thing you can do as well is I've got a PDF which is on my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk. Scroll all the way down, and I've got a looping tips PDF which is completely free. Go and grab it. Okay, if you don't get anything else today, go and grab the tips PDF. However, should you wish to take an extra plunge, you've got things like how to loop like a pro, and then you've got all the other courses as well. So you can obviously do that. That is learning the techniques of looping, not learning on a specific looper. You'll notice when you go through the course, I'm using lots of different loopers. It doesn't actually matter. It's about learning the technique, because once you learn the technique of looping, which is actually a bit of a light bulb moment, you can transfer that to any loop pedal. You've just got to learn the loop pedal. A little bit like learning an instrument. So that's just $48. You can learn from me. Go and learn from others. The way I learn from others is I do buy courses myself, but also at the same time, I'll learn from genres that I'm never going to play on. For example, one of the big ones for me is Swizz Beatz. Swizz Beatz is the #1 sort of channel, in my opinion, for beatboxing. Now, I do a little bit of Boots and Cats just to get that out there, but these guys will do things like on the RC505 and the Mark II, and they'll do things and create entire shows, and they are fantastic. And it's amazing to watch that, to go, actually, I'm going to watch it all the way through, and then I'll watch it again and kind of make some notes maybe, and just go, how did they do that? And try and figure out how they did that, to then apply it to my stuff. Go and watch stuff in different genres completely. And then you can actually, learn from others, and that's how we learn. That's how we all learn. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Boop, boop. There we go. So the last one, number 10 out of 10. Just have fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself with your looping. Don't get bogged down with looping. Make sure that you've practiced enough and you know what you're doing. But then once you do know what you're doing, you can feel like you relax a little bit. Or if you've got that really good loop, you're like, yeah, that's cool. It's rocking. It's got that groove. And have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. And the audience will really pick up on that. Certainly when you're doing a live show, they will definitely pick up on whether you're enjoying yourself or you look frustrated on stage. So certainly enjoy yourself with it. Have fun. Go and watch some other people live who do looping and just see how they do it. And just sit at the front, be selfish, and learn from that, and then go and apply it to yourself. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to have a quick look at one thing, because why are you not working? Don't you love technology? I love technology. I really genuinely do, but it can fail on you sometimes. I was meant to be doing live looping today, but technology and that. For those who are interested, something to do with my audio interface. So yeah, why are you now behaving like a fool? Here we go. Cool. There we go. All right, brilliant. I just wanted to check something, but it's all good and heard. There we go. Now, if you've got questions and you're watching this and it's now the equivalent of 2 a.m. in the morning here, aka the live stream's finished, and you're like, damn it, I wish I could ask JP a question. Ask. Put it down in the comment section below, and obviously I'll get back to you as soon as I can. There will be no live stream next week. There's basically, I am away, but I will be back the week after with something a little bit special. We've got something planned for the first week of June. It's going to be the second week of June now, actually. So the second week of June, we've got something cool planned. But I'm going to be back on the first week of June anyway, with a little bit of a live stream. And then obviously, if you've got those questions, if you're wondering about the courses, as I said, the RC500, the 600, you can plunge into the first chapter of those courses now completely free. There's no credit card need sign up. You can just put your email address in and get access, and then when you get the end of that chapter, it will then ask you if you want to carry on. And of course, if you do carry on, that helps me out. If you've got codes from me that do work, put subscriber in the checkout. And then if you've got other codes, you know, for specific people. And then obviously that helps me out directly. I just also want to say a massive thank you because was it yesterday? No, this morning. 31,900 for subscribing. So thank you very much. That's really, really kind of you. If you are looking to obviously take that to the next level, if you want to send me a little bit of appreciation and keep the channel going, because as I say, I'm doing this full time now. I'm not doing the day job anymore. I'm going to do this full time. I'm building more courses. I'm doing one-to-ones, which obviously help me. But also one thing that could help you is you could join our membership. Our membership on YouTube, it's a little bit like Patreon, but just YouTube. And what it does is it'll give you access to some videos early. So therefore, basically, I push it out to the members first, and then the general public will get that later on. And there's videos that you can see. So if you actually go to my channel and we go to videos, let me just again share my screen. You'll notice that the latest video came out 2 hours ago. And it's not actually this one, it's this one, and it says members first. So the members get it now. So therefore, if you want to, you can obviously go onto the channel, and because I'm logged in, I can't click the join button because it's me. But if you want to, then obviously you can go obviously here. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that if that's something that interests you. I'm going to leave the live stream there. Stop sharing my screen. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. If obviously you've missed this and you're like, damn, then obviously put your comments in the chat. And as I say that, literally as I say that, yo. Hi Piers, how we doing? I'm about to finish up, dude. Yeah, basically go watch the replay or give me a text, Piers, and we'll have a chat. I appear to not be playing bridge this afternoon. Just the verse and the chorus then. Boom. Oh, that one came out of nowhere. Fantastic. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. We're going to actually end it there, and we will see you next week. Such timing, such impressiveness. I'll leave it with that. Thanks very much.